Oh, we are back. The weekly Poke-Yap is back. Took a week break last weekend because I don't think any of us were... Well, actually, I was active. I was home for an entire week, but I didn't feel like doing it. So that's why we didn't have this last week. But now we are ready to rate Pokemans again. Actually, wait a minute. Hang on. Hold on a second. I don't actually think they can hear. Hang on. How did I set this up last time? No, I'm talking about you guys. I don't think they can hear you. Okay. For some reason, it was... Okay, this is fucked. Why isn't it giving me exactly what I need to do? Because I had a... the audio channel was set to the voice chat the last time I was doing this, but now I can't make that happen anymore. Thanks, OBS. All right, say something.
Testing.
Hello.
Okay, it's registering now. That's working again.
Great.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so we are now doing Gen 3. We're on
Awesome.
Celebi.
My favorite generation.
You know, this, I think design-wise, this has like the most hit or miss Pokemon, but I am the most, I'm excited about this gen the most to talk about because this is like my backyard, I guess. Like I started with Gen 2 games, but that was when Gen 3 was still, that was when Gen 3 was current, Ruby and Sapphire were out. So I was at least watching the anime until I finally got Emerald for Christmas that year, and then that was a time. So yeah, this is like the generation I probably have the most vivid memories of out of all of them.
I think Emerald is the best game they ever made. The one issue is that they still hadn't quite ironed out all the wrinkles in the way the game had to work yet by Gen 3.
Yeah, that's
it was
true.
only in Gen 4 that they fixed like all the battle mechanics really. But with that pretty notable caveat, I think Emerald is the best just in terms of like the content that it has and everything.
Yeah, I
think
inclined to agree on most occasions.
I think as far as the designs go, I feel like since it's the move from the Game Boy Color to the Game Boy Advance, it's where the designs start getting more detailed and start being less sort of basic. And I think this is kind of where I start really being more positive about the designs in general.
This was
or
where,
like having more highlights, I guess.
Yeah, this is when Pokemon like really started to change. They even acknowledged this. Like they said that they were making Pokemon. They specifically said they wanted Pokemon to look cooler. Which makes sense because they had to compete with Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Was edgier Pokemon, so they had to step up. I'm just writing out the tweets. And also, this was when they introduced Double Battle, so that they made a lot of Pokemon in pairs, and that's where
true.
I say there are some hit or miss designs here.
Yeah.
Based on
Well, the
that.
other thing they introduced in Gen 3 that I always thought would have been great if they had kept it around to, refine it a bit more was Pokemon contests.
Yeah.
I love contests, yeah.
Because those were a big thing in the anime from the beginning, which is, I think, why they decided they needed to find a way to translate it into the games. And it's a cool system that they had, too, but they just abandoned it, and I think as soon as the next generation.
No, they had it in Gen 4. They actually expanded on
Yeah, they have it
contests
there,
in
too.
Gen 4.
Yeah.
But after that, they were gone.
Yeah.
Too much disappointment, some would say. I didn't love contests, but they could have been better. They could have been expanded on. Like many things in Pokemon, unfortunately.
Right.
That's kind of the thing. It's like, yeah, this was a great feature. Well, it could have been a good feature if they expanded on it more, but instead they just removed it.
I mean, it's good to not have feature bloat, but there are definitely somewhere where it feels like they could have just stuck with it and it wouldn't have been too much.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, let's just get into the design. So let's start with Trico. Let's start with the Tech Gek, as I like calling him.
So Trico was my starter when I played Gen 3. Not my first starter ever because I started with Gen 2. I think Cyndaquil is my first starter
Oh.
ever. But Trico is the starter that I have the most nostalgia for.
Interesting. Because I'd say he's the most forgettable out of the three Gen 3 starters. And
You know, in retrospect, I think you're probably right. But I
Yeah,
do
like
love
maybe.
this little guy.
it stood the test of time worse, I feel like, than the other two starter lines for this generation. But it's not a bad starter by any means. I like his vibe. He's sort of-
I'll start off by saying that I think that this is one of the best starter trios that we ever got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely true.
And that this applies to all three of the stages for all three of them, not just specifically the final evos or the starter forums.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like one of the few where there's just no duds across any of the stages of any of the evolutions. Like they're all solid just throughout. Because Trico is the one. Like if I am naming all starters, there are quite a few that I'm gonna be naming or that are gonna be at the top of my mind more than Trico. I think he is. Maybe by proxy next to the other two, which are so great, he just sort of gets lost. And maybe in a weaker generation, he'd stand out more.
Yeah.
I just always feel like he's a little forgettable.
It's a very plain design. That's the thing. It's very plain. Maybe the only standout thing about it is that Pokemon didn't really have lizard Pokemon like this at this point, because like it feels like a lot of the lizard or reptile Pokemon that they had for the first two generations were just like Charmander and anything that looked like it.
Yeah.
I think it stands out from earlier generations in that it has a little bit of like animal weirdness to it.
Yeah.
Like those eyes and like the shape of the butt head are like features that you would see on like a real animal. It's not just like the Gen 1 body shape that every Pokemon had. It doesn't have like big anime eyes or like weird, cool, angry eyes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That gives it a lot of personality.
Yeah. It does sort of have the humanoid stance and look in his eye, like sort of similar to the Gen 8 water starter or Gen 9 water starters, the gun one. I don't know what.
Sobble.
Sobble, yeah, that line, like sort of like some level of intelligence and slightly more human-like features, which I don't prefer, which sort of holds it back a bit for me. I wish it was a bit more animal-like, but you are right in saying that. Just in terms of the shape of his head and stuff, it does have those animal-like weirdness and those details that are sort of missing in Gen 1 and 2. So I do like that.
Yeah. I'm going to give
I
him a
think
I think I'm going to
solid.
give it a 4, which is maybe a little generous, but I just love this guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go three. I think he's like maybe slightly above average considering all the starters, but not enough to really put him higher than that for me. So I'll say 3.
That's fair. Maybe I'm optimistic about Trico as like a building block because I just know what he becomes. And so
Yeah.
Grovyle is a fucking 5 out of 5. This guy
Yeah, Grovel's.
This guy is such a baller, and he definitely got a really big anime boost because he is so cool in the anime. He's always got a stick in his mouth. His voice was really awesome in the anime, and he just had a cool attitude, so I just loved him.
Yeah, Grovyle is like it doesn't fall into that middle evolution trap that a lot of Pokemon do.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't just look like a weird in-between thing. It has its own characteristics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel if like knowing he does have the middle stage size to him, where he just sort of like hip height. But even if he was like bigger, the design-wise, he's not far from what a final evolution could have looked like. In terms
that's
of
true.
just
Like
complexity and vibe.
I could easily believe that this was a final evolution design. I'm still going to keep him at a 4. I don't think he quite gets to 5 to me. But he's cool. He's good.
I also really like how often he's just shown from the bottom on the official art. I don't know why. I think that's just a cool dynamic view of him.
It makes him look very like fast and agile.
Yeah, and I like that. Yeah, he's very ninja-like, or
He's
like
swinging from vines or just hopping on branches, like Naruto.
Yeah, he's good. I don't think I'm gonna go 5 out of 5, but I do think Grovile is one of the better middle stages for sure. So I'll say 4 as well.
And then Sceptile.
Now this is a 5.
You give okay 5 for Sceptile.
I do think Sceptile's cool, but yeah, I still don't know if I would go 5. I think he sort of loses some of the stuff that makes Grovile cool, and I think he could have had more of those long flowing leaves on his body that Grovile has.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Maybe I think this is just an aesthetic sense because I like long, flowy things like hair or flags
same.
like that. So I don't like how bald and kind of naked he kind of looks.
Yeah,
compared to Grovile.
Also, Grovile is just so dynamic in his pose and his energy, and Sceptile just looks kind of wooden in his stance. I
like his eyes, though. I actually really like how relaxed he looks.
He does look relaxed, but I feel like there could be something a bit more dynamic about his vibe. And yeah, like I said, the long flowing things that I liked in Grovile, I think it's a little bit of a shame that they're gone. But I do really like the big spiky Christmas tree tail and the shape of his head.
He also debuted as his signature move, Leaf Blade, which as a kid I thought was like the coolest move.
Right.
I do love that, yeah.
He seems very like sharp and confident in a cool way to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also like how they make him dinosaur-like without making him look too much like just like a T-Rex or a Velociraptor or something. Like there's something a bit more about him than just being a cool dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they graduated from just having plain white and black eyes from the first 2 generations.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, he does have personality in a way that makes him a bit more than just like a big dinosaur beast. But yeah, Sceptile's good.
Or maybe it's also because maybe they thought about working with more colors because they knew that they could actually display them better on.
Well, yeah, that's also a big part of it.
Yeah. If this was a Gen 2 Pokemon, those red colors would just be gone, and wouldn't be that much texture to his head or his body, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sceptile's good. That's like a 4 out of 5 for me.
I'll still give him a 4. I still like him. And I guess I appreciate that they went with something different, but they didn't, completely depart from the original design.
Yeah, it's a very different vibe from both of the previous grass starters.
Yeah, but it works. And then there's Mega Sceptile.
I love Mega Sceptile.
Where they make him spiky and he's turned around. And that's the that's the coolest thing about him. His battle pose in the game. He's got his back pose.
Yeah, I mean he's largely just Sceptile with more red accents.
Yeah, and more spikes.
Yeah, and I do think the red accents are an improvement. I think it makes it a bit more dynamic and sort of gives him the Grovile vibe more. And I like how tail forward he is. I love the pose. Backwards pose is so cool.
Yeah. I kind of don't like the actual design too much, though. It's the mega problem of having way too many fucking spikes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think Grovile or Sceptile itself already has enough spikes that adding it's not that many more extra. It's just more emphasizing them with the tail forward and some extra on his back. But I think it kind of works here. I think also because he has a spiky tail in general, and he's like, I don't know. I feel like the spikes sort of suit the design. So I'd say this is a better Sceptile to me.
I think the biggest improvement aside from the pose change is putting a point on the end of the tail.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. I think it's supposed to fire off like a missile, too, in the anime or something.
Is it?
I think so. I think it attaches. They actually gave it shed tail.
It looks
in
like
the
it would,
newest generation, so there's that.
Yeah, great move.
Broken move.
Yeah, I guess I'll say I think this is pretty much as good a Mega as I could expect for Sceptile. Maybe they could have toned it down a little bit with the spikes, but I think they are pretty much in the where they should be for a Mega Sceptile.
I will say it also.
So I'll still say 4 out of 5.
I will say it also looks busier in the back. The front view of it isn't quite so busy. Oh, what happened to my? There it is. This image. which looks a little better, but
Yeah.
obviously the pose is way cooler. I'll give it a 4. I still liked it, and it convinced me to pick him in Oraz when that was coming out.
Yeah, I kind of want to say 5 in the ballpark of Megas. I think you couldn't do much better, but also just 4 in general as a Pokemon.
What was he rating for Cinderace?
I'm giving it a 5 as well.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Torchic.
Torchic is so fucking cute.
This was my guy when I first played Emerald, and yeah, I love it. I like that it has no arms. It looks like if it falls over, it
so
wouldn't
great.
be able to get up, and it would be really sad.
Yeah. I think I got to give Torchic a 5 too. This is like peak starter design to me.
Yeah, I think that as far as first stage starter goes, this might be one of the all-time best for me. It's so cute. It does have the fire vibe without being like actually on fire, which is kind of the thing that it's always gonna risk into just make an orange Pokemon that's on fire. But just as you like, there's just enough fire elements with the bushy wings and the thing on its head that does feel like it's a fire type, without just being too blunt about it.
Yeah, it just
which I
looks
really
like a flame.
The one
Yeah.
thing about Torchic that I'm not really saying this to, even as a criticism, just an observation, is that for some reason it looks to me more like a Digimon than a Pokemon.
I've never really been able
maybe
to
it's the
get behind
eyes.
it, that kind of comment, so I don't know.
Okay.
I have no like real knowledge of Digimon anyway, so when someone
I
says
have
it looks
very-
like a
I have very
Digimon, it's like,
little.
okay, sure.
I don't really know what Digimon look like either. To me, if I imagine a Digimon, all I can think of is the T-Rex one.
I think it's the
Agumon.
lack of arms and the shape of the eyes gives
might
it
be
a,
the
a
eyes.
Digimon vibe to me.
Maybe.
But yeah, Torchic I think is perfect. I think that's a 5 out of 5.
Good morning, Kichi. Hope your Sunday is nice. Thanks for stopping by.
I also just love birds, so I like having a bird starter.
Bird lover over here. I'll give Torchic. Yeah, you know what? I'll give Torchic a 5 as well. Like if this guy came out as a starter, like if this was a starter for a new Pokemon game, I'd be like, yep, I'm picking this. This is my guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Combuskin.
I also like Combuskin.
Putting their entire
think-
Combuskin into it.
We said at the start of this stream that Gen 3 is one of the strongest for starters
Yeah.
in ever. It's like Gen 3 and Gen 1 are the two standouts, I think. Combuskin to me is the low point of
Really?
the set here.
I quite like Combuskin. I think it's, again, I like how it's not overemphasized that it's a fire type and they actually lean more into the fighting thing.
Yeah,
I think that's really interesting and cool.
the pose is great
Um,
for this
I love the-
artwork.
yeah, the pose is nice.
Don't let
Well,
any of this distract you from the fact that Nidoking is 4'7".
We actually can only still see your screen through the stream. So if you could share it in Discord, that would be easier.
Oh, okay.
There would be no delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how feathery he is. Like you can definitely get a sense of his bushy upper body and then the bold legs, which I think is fun.
I think it's weirdly bottom heavy to me. Like if he wasn't doing this pose, like the legs are so wide and bulbous, and then the top half of the body is just like, honestly, he's shaped like a dick.
Yeah,
He
yeah. I was
is,
wondering
yeah.
if anyone was going to say it. I was wondering if anyone was going to point it out.
But it just
Yeah, I
looks
think-
kind of awkward to me, and not even because it's phallic. It's just like a weird shape language. It doesn't look cool. It looks too silly.
I kind of like how it's just a chicken and trying to make a chicken look cool. There's still some of that weird chickenness about it, but I do agree the pose is doing the heavy lifting. Not dissimilar to a Pokemon like Hitmonlee or something, but I think that's fine. I just like this picture of Combuskin. I just think that's a cool, fun design.
I really like the color design of it. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I like the two different colors of down that it has. And I like the talons. I like the claws. Like I like it, but I also get it. I get the complaints. Like this isn't
Yeah,
what I would
I
want to
mean-
settle for, and I would want it to just kind of want it to hurry up and evolve. But it works for me. So I'll give it a 4.
I'm giving
Yeah,
it
I'll
a
say
3.
I'll say 4 as well.
Now, this was my favorite Pokemon as a kid.
Blaziken.
I was about to say this is every kid's favorite Pokemon when Gen 3 came out.
Yeah, this was exactly, I don't know. This was like the exact kind of thing that would appeal to a 10-year-old in the mid-2000s, and as a 10-year-old in the mid-2000s, this was my favorite guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5.
Yeah.
It's just great. All of these starters, final evolutions, are easy 5s, to me at least.
I want to say I have issue with the fact that it doesn't really look like a bird anymore. It just looks like a dude, but it does look very cool.
That's a good point. It's got a little bit of a beak still, but that's definitely de-emphasized.
It's kind of like I don't know. It's like a cross between like a Sentai sort of thing and a fighting chicken, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does look very Sentai. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it also kind of looks like, like very, like almost Dragon Ball Z, or like there's something anime like about him.
I like that about it.
Do you think it would be better if it had like the chicken feet still coming out of the bottom of those pant legs?
If it had more,
I kind of like how they're hidden. I do like how they're hidden, and it's just these long pants. Again, I don't really have an issue with the design. I just wish it was more chicken bird-like, even just having a bit more prominent of a beak or something.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, that's it. Blaziken's fucking badass, and I love how you just can tell he will kick your ass literally, like how lag forward he is again, much like Combusken, and how that's his thing. Like he's the guy that kicks you with fire.
Blaze kick.
Hell yeah!
He started doing signature moves.
Did he have Sky Uppercut, or was that
He also has Sky
Infernape
Uppercut.
Next Generation? Okay, yeah.
By the way, Blaziken was the Charizard of Zoomers. That's actually Greninja. Greninja is the Charizard for Zoomers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
Blaziken is the Charizard for kids who were not quite there for Gen 1, but were in time for Gen 2 and 3.
Like anyone born around like between like 94 and 98.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a Blaziken kid. Yeah, Blaziken's fucking great. I'll say 5 out of 5. I can't really fault it, even if I wish it was more chicken-like.
Yeah, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 for my guy. And then Mega Blaziken. I think cool. I like it.
Yeah, still cool.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better, but pretty much on the same level.
Yeah.
I like the X-shaped like chest piece there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the streamers behind the hands.
Yeah, the streamers are the best part for me. I think they're cool.
Yeah, I like the fire wrists. Those are awesome. I like the color change on this one. Yeah, they did a fantastic job on this one. 5 out of 5.
It kind of, now that you've put me onto this, whoops, it does lose like all of the last vestiges of birdness that Blaziken still had.
Yeah, if you give this to people and you ask them like what type of animal is this supposed to be based on, you wouldn't be guessing birds as your first or second or third guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you might if you are really forced to compare it to an animal, but it just doesn't look like an animal in general. One thing I don't really like is the big spike on his forehead. That's a little weird.
I'm okay with it. It's something. It's just some detail.
I think it works.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I think this is a mega that just sort of takes the idea of Blaziken to the next logical conclusion without like overdoing it, which is kind of a risk that megas fall into.
For sure.
So yeah, but yeah, I think this is probably as best a mega for Blaziken as I can imagine. I can't imagine anything better or have any issues with it, so that's still a 5 out of 5.
Yep. What'd you give it, Sinners?
Now we get to the real good shit. I also gave it a 5, yeah.
5 is across the board for my boy. So, do you like Mudkips?
I love Mudkip.
I love Mudkip.
Okay. I heard you like Mudkips. Is this another 5 across the board? Is Mudkip
I think it is, yeah.
It might be, yeah. Mudkip's also
I think
just
we need to
so
discuss
cute.
it any further. Everybody knows Mudkip is perfect.
Yeah.
It is pretty iconic. Like Blaziken is iconic as like the final evolution for this generation, but Mudkip I think is even if I prefer Torchic, the most iconic first stage of Gen 3, and also in general just one of the most iconic.
Yeah, it's great. Everything about it's good. The colors are great. The whole like shape of it is great. I don't even know like what it's supposed to be, which is also something really cool.
It's like an axolotl type thing, right?
I think so.
Oh, I guess so.
But it's definitely like taking liberties.
Yeah.
But I think that's what like the whisker elements are supposed to be inspired by.
I love his mouth as well. I love how he just sort of unhinges as well when he opens his mouth, and how flat he is in his face. I just love his deadpan vibe.
Yeah, it's both derpy and cute at the same time.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's very cute.
Marshtomp.
Marshtomp definitely has middle evolution issue.
Yeah, I'd say this is the weakest point in any Gen 3 starter line.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't feel too strongly about him one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad. Like I said, I think there's no actual weak point. I just think he's the lowest it gets for this generation. I think he's okay. He does have that middle stage sort of weird preteen look or whatever you want to call it. And now there's just not that much interesting about him. Like it's just like we take the second stage body type, which is just sort of this like slightly pudgy, like chubby child energy.
Yeah.
And then put all the Mudkip features on that base model, and then that's Marshtomp.
Yeah, it just feels like they kind of lost a lot of the charm and the personality of Mudkip with this one by making it bipedal for whatever reason.
Yeah, definitely.
Like this didn't need to look vertical.
I also think they should have kept like the 3 points on the cheeks instead of going down to 1.
Yeah, they should have messed with that. So
the mohawk as well. The mohawk as well. I like the wing thing that Mudkip has on its head a lot better, and this is more like, I don't know, looks too sharp, and I like the
I think the black fins are actually the best part about him. That's probably the one
like
thing
the
I
hind
do like
leg
the
fins.
Both that and the mohawk.
I like the color. I just don't like the angle, I guess. But that's small things. I'll say 3 as well. I think it's a fine second stage Pokemon.
Yeah, 3's across the board.
Yeah. And then Swampert.
I think Swampert is the best design of any of these starters.
Really?
Maybe of any starter ever, to be honest.
Really?
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been.
It
like,
looks powerful. It looks solid. It doesn't look like anything else Pokemon has ever done.
Sure.
It is,
and it's also really cute. Still.
I don't think Swampert's cute at all, but you can have that.
I think he's like goofy cool, which is a fun vibe. I don't think cute would be the first one. He's like a halfway point between goofy and cool.
I'll admit that I've never like had strong feelings about Swampert because I've basically never actually used him in a game because A, there are so many water types in this game, and B, I just love the other 2 starters so much that this one has just been, by process of elimination, the one I've been least into. But like, I do like how complex and cool the design is. Like, great color design once again. I like that they kind of brought back the whisker things.
Yeah. Like, this feels like a good conclusion to, or like a good endpoint for Mudkip to end at. And Swampert is, or Marshtomp is kind of a weird halfway point that kind of works, but doesn't really fully work as a middle stage. But yeah, I think he's cool. I think he still sort of has that goofy energy. I think he's still very recognizable as a Mudkip evolution, which is not really the case for something like Torchic and Blaziken. And I also think Water Ground's a great type. I like how swampy he looks as well. He looks like he'd be sitting in a big, thick bog.
Yeah. I like that it actually looks like a grown-up Mudkip.
Yeah,
It's got the same body shape. It's got a lot of the same features. It's just like bigger and stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good. I'd give it a 4. I like him. I still like him.
I kind of want to say 5. I do think he's very good.
Go with your heart.
Hell yeah, 5.
Now, Mega Swampert with anchor arms.
I love Mega Swampert. I think he's so cool.
Yeah.
like in a hell yeah, like like he's cool in a funny way. I just love how beefy he gets.
I don't know how I feel about him looks-wise. One of the most fun megas to use in competitive, I'll say that.
Yeah,
He's like-
so great.
He's like if you took a Swampert and squeezed him like a tube of toothpaste and took all of the bulk from the hind legs and the normal one and pushed it up to the upper body.
Yeah.
I just love. I think he's cool, and the fact that I think he's cool is funny to me because he's so obviously cool in a dumb way.
Yeah.
That I think that's such a fun energy.
He's ready to throw down.
Yeah, he's just a fucking beast. He's so ripped.
I like base Swampert more, but I still think this is at least a 4, maybe a 5 for me.
Yeah, I kind of want to say 5 as well. I just love how it's kind of like base Swampert but on steroids.
I think I'm
it's
gonna go.
funny.
I think I'm gonna go 3. Honestly, I just kind of.
Wow,
I don't
okay.
like him that much.
Damn.
Yeah. I just kind of prefer megas that do more interesting things, I guess. And now Poochyena.
This is kind of a nothing Pokemon to me.
Yeah.
Like Poochyena and Zigzagoon are the two like quintessential. I'm over this Pokemon by this point in my life. Like I've just seen it so many times in playing those games,
Yeah.
and it has like really very little that's interesting about it.
I quite like Zigzagoon. I think Zigzagoon's pretty fun. I think Poochyena just sort of doesn't need to exist when we have something like Houndour, which kind of carries the load of like the bad dog Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
Poochyena is kind of just like a side grade of that. That isn't necessarily worse to me, but just didn't need to exist.
I think I do like Houndour more, but I appreciate that Poochyena is not like quite as edgy.
Yeah. They needed new common like Merc Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because this was also the first time that Pokemon started to separate themselves from Gen 1, so they were like, okay, we need new things now. We can't just reuse Caterpie every generation.
Mm-hmm. I do actually like the design, though. I like the little teeth. I like the placement of the black accents. I think it works pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's a good design. I think if Houndour didn't, I think it might say better Houndour slightly, just preferred. But it's not a super exciting Pokemon to exist. Like we didn't need another dark type dog. I guess otherwise, other than for the reason to fill the slot that as like
and it's better than other dark type dogs we'll get in the future. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, 3.
I think 3 is fine. Yeah, it does its job, and it's not necessarily a job that needs doing, but within what it's trying to be, it's just solid and good and fine.
Now, Mightyena, it's a
As
dog.
your haircut.
Yeah, this one compared to Poochyena is just boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Mightyena as well. I don't like how slick they made him. I think Poochyena sort of has a bratty, ruffled vibe to him, and then Mightyena they made kind of slick in a way that I don't like. So definitely a downgrade, and I can't really point at anything else super recognizable or interesting about him.
This is I think the complaints you were making or comparisons you were making to Houndour and it being like the bad dog Pokemon, that rings a lot more true because obviously this one's supposed to be like kind of evil because it's used by all the Team Magma grunts and all that, but it just doesn't look like an evil looking dog or anything. It's just it's just a dog. That's all it
kind of just looks like a wolf.
Yeah,
and like he's angry, but he doesn't look like he wants to.
It doesn't
like,
look intimidating. Like there's nothing scary about it.
Yeah,
I think it's just too shiny and slick. Like he looks too brushed and well kept for like a evil, chaotic dog.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Houndoom is like the most extreme version of this, where he has literal skulls on his body. I don't think Mightyena necessarily needs that. I think he just could have been a bit rougher in his design.
Yeah.
I think Mityena's a 2.
2s across the board. Zigzagoon.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. I kind of like Zigzagoon. It's all right.
I like Zigzagoon. I like how he has the zigzag pattern. I think, and how layered his fur is, how stripy he is. I like the mask he's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
I like how low to the ground he is. Like how tiny his paws is. He's just this ball of fur dashing across the ground. He looks
Tiny
mischievous.
raccoon Pokemon.
Tiny raccoon. Yeah, he's just a little mischievous guy, and I like that. I think he's fun.
I feel the same way, like I said in the Poochyena one. Like, it's kind of cute, it's perfectly serviceable, but it's not exciting. And it's not supposed to be, because it's the Pokemon you see a million times in the first route.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I at this point in Pokemon, I would say it's still better than Sentret and Rattata. Or like,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Wise. So,
and that's like what we were talking about earlier, is this is a point where the technology of the games allowed them to do something a little more interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's like one of the Pokemon that you get overexposed to and get tired of, I think looking at him now, being out of playing Gen 3 for a while, I think he's charming and fun, and I think within that category of like rodent Pokemon that you get thrown at you for the first 15 routes of the game, I think he is cute and fun, and I do like him. So I'll say 4.
Yeah, I'm giving him a
4. I'm going to say 3.
That's fair. Now, Galarian Zigzagoon.
What did you say on that one, Moss?
4.
4.
Galarian version is black and white.
I never noticed until now that he's got the little stars over his eyes. I like that.
Yeah, yes, the
the
glam metal.
No, this one.
Wait, I don't see it. Oh, the mask shape. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
I never noticed that before. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah.
Huh. That is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean the entire Galarian Zigzagoon line has this like glam metal vibe to them, or something along those lines, which is pretty fun. I like him. I think it's just like a good side grade to normal Zigzagoon as a regional form. It's not too much different about him, but he's just different enough that he does has some distinct identity to him.
I'm gonna keep him at a 3. I like the normal like brown coloration better than I like the black and white, but I really like the star glasses here, so that's gonna bump him back up.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep him at a 4 because I still like him.
Yeah, I'll stick to 4 as well.
And then Linoon.
I think Linoon's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I liked
honestly
it more.
like. I kind of want to give Linoon a 1. It's not like offensive like some ones we've given before have been, but it's just nothing at all. It's just a beige tube.
I like the gimmick design wise because Zigzagoon was based on zigzagging and that kind of pattern, and this one's just based on a straight line, but that kind of like just means it's really boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this drawing is also definitely like just he looks like a tube or like a cucumber with fur on it.
It's got like a totally neutral expression too, so there's no personality.
And seeing some other pictures of Linoon where he's like in a bit more of a dynamic pose, it does look better. It has some elegance to it, but I mean that's kind of it's still pulling the Pokemon out of the context that it's designed in, and the official art of it is kind of the thing we're, I guess, mainly going by.
Yeah.
I don't think he's terrible. Like, I'm not gonna go look at Linoon, or when I encounter it in a game, I'm not gonna be put off by him. I'm just gonna be underwhelmed by it, but not aggressively underwhelmed. So that's a 2 for me.
Yeah, 2 out of 10. It's 2 out of 5. It's just really boring. Then Galarian Linoon.
Just kind of the same for me. I guess he has more personality.
Honestly, I didn't even know there was a Galarian Linoon. I just thought the Galarian Zigzagoon went straight into Obstagoon.
Nah, that was a Linoon too.
I'm going 1 again.
I'm gonna go 3. I think the color and the expression at least gives it something, so I don't mind it too much. And I guess I'm also more forgiving of this one because now it's a middle evolution, so it's gonna get better for this guy.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's better than normal High Noon, but not enough to give it a 3. But I do agree that seeing it as a middle evolution, I think that it's functional and fine, and it doesn't look bad or anything, or it doesn't look too boring. So yeah, I'll agree with the 3.
Yeah. Wormhole.
Should we just do obstacle now since we just did the other 2 in the line?
Nah, I like
It's
keeping
gonna
it
get
consistent.
confusing
with
down the line.
Pokédex number. Okay. Although it is kind of weird doing it. I don't know. But anyway, Wormpole. Wormpole
Little guy.
is a
As
weirdo.
far as like shitty first stage bugs go, like the archetype.
Uh-huh.
I think this is maybe the best one.
Yeah, I like this one.
I do like Wormhole as well. I like how pink he is.
Yeah, the color's great.
And he has that bug weirdness to him, like having the spike legs and having 10 of them, and the weird.
The like weirdly like fleshy looking mouth parts.
Yeah.
This kind
Like
of
it-
it kind of takes the best parts of Weedle and Caterpie and puts them together.
Yeah, that's true.
it's got the Caterpie like squishiness and the Weedle spikiness, and it's sort of doing both really well.
He looks silly and kind of like not a threat in the way that this kind of Pokemon is supposed to. But those 2 hind spikes still give you the impression that like, oh, but you can't like fuck around with him.
Yeah, he's gonna poison you.
Yeah.
He can use Poison Sting.
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna go with a
I'll
3.
agree. I'll agree that in the category of regional bugs, this is probably up there as one of the best ones. And he's just, I like it. He's colorful. He's got I think, yeah, I'll say 4.
Yeah. Silcoon. I think they kind of maybe phoned it in with the Cocoon Pokemon this iteration. They drew a cocoon and then put an eye on it.
Like Kakuna and Metapod have a lot of personality for something that's like an inanimate object.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this Silcoon and Cascoon do not.
Yeah.
I kind of like how simple it is, and I was just a spiky ball with an eye. But I think they could have done a little more. Yeah, they could have given it a bit more personality. This just feels so neutral, and like there's no life between those eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1.
Honestly,
and-
yeah, 1.
I'll say 2, just because I actively dislike Cascoon more, and I want to leave room at the bottom.
What's the difference? Well, we'll get to that.
Because at least Silcoon has like this bushy eyebrow thing that I kind of like. Gives him some texture.
Okay, we'll get to that.
I
Beautifly.
do agree Silcoon is better than Cascoon. Beautifly. It's just Butterfly, but worse.
Yeah, it's just a worse Butterfree.
Yeah, this was definitely like the most obvious case of them trying to do Gen 1 differently. And it didn't work. I don't like the long thing coming out of its face.
I do like the Proboscis. That's like the one thing I like.
The Proboscis.
I like the proboscis and the antenna. Those are the only things that like give
proboscis.
it any personality.
This is a word I'm
But
not
I-
familiar with. How do I spell this?
Proboscis.
You're probably gonna be getting lot of
Proboscis.
big-nosed monk. You're probably gonna be getting a lot of big-nosed monkeys when looking it up.
The nose of a mammal, especially when it is long and mobile, such as the trunk of an elephant or the snout of a tapir.
Yeah, butterflies have them. So I mean, it's accurate.
Yeah, is that not what it's called on an insect?
It is. I think it is.
What is proboscis in butterfly? Okay, yeah, they do.
Okay.
Um,
I also really hate, like, the kind of a weird degree, the shape of the body.
yes.
Like, the
I was
body
gonna
is
say that.
so small and round. It looks like, just like imagine this thing without the wings, and it's horrifying.
Oh, it looks like Astrobot.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah, it does look like a. Don't like how weirdly, like there's something like almost teddy bear like about his body. It's not really bug like to me. Like he has weird feet and thick arms. I would have
Yeah.
preferred like thin, spindly, buggy butterfly legs instead of this weird squishy. He looks like a squeeze toy, like a, if you take out the wings and the proboscis and the sticky out, it just like it looks like something a dog would be chewing on.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
I'll say 2 as well. I just think he's kind of boring.
Yeah, I'll give it 2. I don't like it, but at least it's colorful enough. So,
Yeah.
like, I could at least imagine this being cool in the world it inhabits. So, I get it. All right, Cascoon. Okay, so now I see what you're saying about the eyes. This doesn't have any features on the eye.
Yeah. Like this is just the Voltorb eye slapped on, kinda. Like
Yeah.
Silcoon sort of has that bushy vibe, and there's some sense of texture in it as well, because it has like spiky, bushy eye. This is just like drawn onto a circle with no sense of layering or texture, which is just so much worse. And I also don't like the off purple color. I know it sort of makes sense going into Dustox and getting that poison vibe. But I like for Silcoon, he does look like he's made of like silk, like a silk moth cocoon thing.
What is Cask?
Cascoon just kind of looks like.
What is he made
Cascoon
of?
just kind of look.
What is Cask? Oh, Casket.
Cask. Yeah.
Casket. That's probably what it is.
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
1 out
I
of 10.
just-
Let's not even talk about it anymore. Fuck
Yeah,
Cascoon.
1.
Dustox.
I do think Dustox kind of cool.
I like it better than Beautifly, but not by much.
Yeah, like, I don't think it looks cool. I appreciate that it's, again, something different, but this is giving me trypophobia.
Yeah, the eyes are a lot. I'll agree on that, and I don't love the weird squishy round antenna that he has, but I do love the big like wing that almost goes to the back like a kite. He looks like a kite.
I
And
really
do
like
love
the
that.
wing.
I really like the colors. I just hate the features, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the mouth is not great as well. I don't like his smile.
The mouth is the biggest issue for me. If it was just like a dot mouth, I feel like I would like the whole Pokemon a lot more. It would just be this like kind of weird, creepy bug thing. As it is, it's going for something, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah, like put your thumb over the face, and the base body shape is pretty cool, but the eyes and the mouth is just bad.
Yeah.
But I do like the wings and the like it looks like a big leaf, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
And it looks like a guy that like the circles on it, like the purple. So there's a lot of I like, but I will agree that the eyes and the mouth are bad, and that kind of ruins it.
I'm going to give it a 2.
Yeah, 2.
I'll say 3.
Lotad. I think this is.
Geek.
I think this entire stage is going to be a 5 from me, dog.
It looked at
Really? Even Lombre?
Lombre fucking rules. I love
All right.
Lombre. But starting with Lotad, look at this dude.
I see you.
It's just a little guy, and he's got a lily pad. Yeah. And he
Lotad is great. Lotad's a 5 for me too, I think.
Yeah, Lotad's fun. I just love how you can't really even see what he looks like. You see like a little guy peeking out from under the lily pad.
I never noticed until now it apparently has 6 legs, not 4.
Huh. Also, what is Lotad?
I don't know.
Like, he's just a little round thing with a duck face.
He's just some.
I guess he's.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be like a platypus, maybe.
It gives Perry the
Yeah.
platypus, the face does,
True. Yeah, I think it might be a platypus.
with like the beak and the wide brimmed hat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Lotad's fun. Yeah, don't know if I'm gonna go 5, but I'll say 4. I think that's just a good Pokemon.
Lombre. Yeah.
Lombre I hate.
Why do you hate
No, I
Lombre?
don't like Lombre.
Racist.
It just makes me unhappy to look at him. I don't like the way his lips are jutting out like that. I don't like the expression he's given me. I don't like
Yeah.
the
I don't like
implied
it.
clothing of like the darker green coloration.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't love the suspenders that he's wearing. Or
I
It's
love
not
him.
even suspenders. It's like one middle suspender.
He looks like he's gonna. He looks like he should be playing an accordion on a street somewhere.
He does have personality. I'm not going to deny that, but I do agree with most of what Sinra said. That the implication of clothes and the look of the mouth is just kind of strange.
I think this is one of the worst, like, middle stage syndromes in the franchise.
I'm not sure I'm going to go that far, but I don't like Lombre.
I kind of want to
I'll-
give him a 1, to be honest.
I think that's excessive, but I can kind of see.
Is this-
Yeah,
I'll go
that is.
2.
I'll say 2.
I was gonna say, is this the first ever one where someone else gives it a 5?
Have we
I feel
not
like
gone
that
there
happened in
before?
the last one I was on.
How well have we been taking? How well have we been keeping track of anything?
Oh, I've been keeping track on all of them that I've been part of.
Okay, good. I don't know if we've had a 1 and a 5, but this shouldn't be this shouldn't be a 1, nor should it be a 5.
Yeah, I'm
We got
Yeah,
close.
my
We got
opinion.
close with Tauros Aqua Paldean form.
We triple 5.
The three of us gave it 4s, and Panic gave it a 1.
Okay.
That's close, yeah.
All right, Ludicolo. Yep.
That's a big pineapple man.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know why he
I have
becomes a
no idea
pineapple.
what he's supposed to be, really, but
He's so chaotic. He's wearing oven mitts as well. He's like a duck pineapple wearing oven mitts and a sombrero.
yeah.
He is the coolest guy. Yeah.
He's
This is
such
a
a
4.
good guy.
This is a 4.
I'll say
right
4
here.
as well. That's a good guy.
5 out of 5. What does he need to do to be better?
I don't like the legs that much.
Well, he just hops from side to side, and it's awesome.
I guess.
I don't like the thing sticking out at the top of the head.
That's the
Okay.
thing from the tree.
Yeah.
It's like and I don't think I like the eyes. I think they're almost the eyes and the face.
Oh no,
are a
the
bit-
eyes are good.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
I like that.
He looks like he's about
I
to be
guess you're
firing
right.
his laser.
I'll stick to 4 though. I'm just not feeling. I can't really bring up any kind of concrete that I truly dislike, but I'm just not feeling it as much as I would a 5
Doesn't
out
have
of
that
5.
X factor.
Yeah,
C-Dot.
like
C-Dot is a weird one.
Yeah.
I don't really
just a
know
little
what to
guy.
make of him, but I like it.
I think he's cute. I think he's just a little guy.
You know what he looks like is those enemies from Mega Man.
I've never played Mega Man.
He does look like the
Man.
Goomba type enemy in some game, like the base guy that you jump on and kill
Yeah.
in one
They're
hit.
called Met. M-E-T. Look up Met Mega Man.
Okay. Dang it. Come on. Dang it. How do I use computer? Met Mega Man. Oh.
I mean, I don't
okay.
think he looks. I get what you mean, but I don't think he looks that similar. This guy looks more like
I get
Phalanx.
it. Yeah, he's an individual phalanx.
Yeah.
Um,
I like that they didn't give him, like... How do I put this? Basically, the eyes just look like they're part of the body, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah. It's a little unsettling in some sort of way.
Like,
Like,
it almost
almost to the
doesn't
point of
look
art-
like a living creature.
Yeah.
like you're unsure if they're even eyes or if it's just like looks vaguely eye-like. It doesn't even look like it's looking at anything. They're just sort of empty, and I kind of like that. It does look has a fun inanimate vibe to it.
As part of the charm of Gen 3 designs to me is that even the ones that are kind of nothing usually have something that's a little weird about them that still makes
Yeah.
them notable.
I like C-Dot. I think he's good. I'll say 4. I think he's like not just solid, but there's something about him. There's something about this guy
Yeah,
that I like.
I'll give him a 4 too. I like them. I like this
Yeah.
as a
4s
common
across the
enemy type.
board.
Nuzleaf, the inventor of the Nuzlocke.
Nuzleaf is bad, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's
Yeah.
bad, but I don't like him that much.
I don't like his nipples.
Why
Yeah,
they
I don't
give
know
him
why he
nipples?
has nipples.
That was a strange decision.
And he's got the same like weird bulbous thighs that I complained about on Combuskin.
Yeah, but in Combustion I like it because it's like chicken legs, like the bald legs of a chicken. So
Sure.
it kind of makes sense, and also he's very leg forward.
Yeah.
Whereas Nuzleaf is like nipple forward, but then they give him weird legs.
Nuzleaf looks like a baby in a diaper.
Yeah,
He looks,
like, I
he
don't
looks
know.
like a
Yeah, I don't like that they just
toddler.
made him a guy. He almost looks like he should be a fighter.
Yeah.
And he's not.
yeah. I'm almost heading towards a 1 here.
I do
really
kind of
don't
like
like
the
this one.
mask, but I don't know how I feel about the nose.
I like the head. I like the face overall. I think that's all fine. It's just everything below.
I think
that
I would
is-
give it a 2 if it weren't for the nipples. The nipples
He
are
also
good a
definitely-
1.
Yeah, he also definitely has like Gen 1, Gen 2 hands, where they just sort of give him this weird
Yeah.
big mitts, without any much more definition beyond that, which I don't like. I wouldn't be surprised if Nuzleaf was like already existed as concept art in Gen 2.
Yeah,
and
like
they
a
just sort
cut
of
Gen
Gen
2
3 them up.
Pokemon.
He has Gen 2 vibes in a way. I don't know if I'm gonna go 1 yet.
Look at
I'll
how
say-
many weaknesses he's got.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Grassdark is
Mm.
not the best.
he's so exposed. I'm kind of inclined to say 1, but I'll say 2. I think I want to leave 1 for Pokemon that give more of an unpleasant.
Yeah, I'm going to go
reaction.
2.
That's what he's.
I don't
Two.
hate him enough. And then Shiftry is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I've never quite known how to feel about Shiftry.
I've-
I
I've
really
not-
like. He's got like a big nutcracker chin, and I really like that.
Oh, I never saw that as like his entire chin. Like he's just a head with legs.
Yeah.
That I don't know if that makes him better in my eyes.
I
Like,
also
thought
I
just-
really like he's got like the Japanese like Garuda sandal
The sandals
shape
are great.
for his
Yeah.
feet. I really like
Yeah.
that too.
He definitely has
Um,
like Tengu vibes.
Tengu, yeah, not Garuda, thank you. The hair is just weird though.
I kind of like the hair though. I like how it goes over his entire face, the nose that's sticking out. I'm just not sure about the bunny ears and legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of don't like the ears, now that you mention it. I don't mind anything else, though. I like the
They're actually like
leaves, I like
they're
the
like
expression.
exactly Eevee's ears.
He's
Yeah.
got kind of an air of mystery to him though, that every time
He
I look
does.
at him I'm like, I don't think I like this, but I'm intrigued. by
Yeah,
it.
like it's just so
Yeah.
weird, and it's so different from the first 2 stages. It's like, where did this even come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would look at C-Dot, you would. It is.
Remember
such a
C-Dot? This is
departure.
him now. Feel old yet?
Yeah, what the? If you think of him as like the same guy, that is very weird.
I really
Like-
just want to know what they were thinking of when they did this. Like why is he like a wooden Tengu?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, from Nuzleaf, it kind of makes sense, and there's some connection between Nuzleaf and C-Dot. It kind of makes sense, but that's like the overlap between Shiftry and C-Dot that's left is just so non-existent.
Is Nuzleaf supposed to be like
Okay.
is it a mandrake, the like crying baby plant things from mythology?
So Shiftry's family is based on the Tengu, and Ludicolo's
Yeah.
family is based on the Kappa. So it's a counterpart to Ludicolo on that stage.
Okay. The Ludicolo one makes sense. The Shiftry one, like we were saying, is definitely Tengu inspired, but I still don't get
Yeah.
what the earlier evolutions of it are.
Yeah, exactly. Like C-Dot just has nothing. There's nothing Tengu-like about C-Dot. Like Nuzleaf has the nose, but C-Dot's just his own thing. Yeah, the more I look at Shiftry, the more I don't like him. The ears are a big thing, and I don't love the big chin. Or I guess if you see it as a chin, I don't love it that way, and if I don't see it as a chin, I still don't love the body shape. But there is something intriguing about him. I'll say 3.
It just says
I'm going to
Nuzleaf-
say 3 as well.
It just says Nuzleaf appears to be based on a sproutling acorn and a Tengu. I don't know.
I don't know.
Strange. I'm gonna give Shiftry a 4 just because it's like so odd. It's like I could see it. Why not?
All right.
Talo. This was probably the most forgettable generic bird for me.
There are worse ones, but Taylor is down there.
I think Taylor is an okay bird. I think he does have. I do like his like split tail, and the V. Just sort of the coloring. I think.
Yeah, I think
pretty
the
solid,
coloring saves it. Like
I think-
the one I immediately comes to mind that's worse is P-Dove, which is like kind of the same design but just gray.
Yeah.
Like Taylor at least has.
I think he looks.
interesting coloration.
I like how sharp he looks. He looks kind of fast. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he has some personality. I like the Gen 3 spread where he's just screaming in your face. I like that. Yeah, I think Taylor's okay. I think he's a fine bird Pokemon. I'll say 3.
I'm gonna say 2.
Yeah, 2. And then Swellow.
I don't like Swallow.
It's just big. It's a bird.
Just don't like his vibe.
Yeah. This is kind of
Yeah.
like the same thing as Mighty Enna to me, where it's just exactly what it is. There's not really anything to it.
Yeah, it does have mighty. Like Taylor has some personality to him. Swallow's just kind of like it's a big bird with sex eyes.
Like every Pokemon you should look at and be like, yeah, I can see what this guy does. Swellow
Yeah,
is just a bird.
Yeah, no one wants
Yeah.
to catch a Swellow.
Yeah.
yeah, it
2.
is just. Yeah, I'll say 2.
2. Wingull. Pico.
Now this is a
Wingle's-
good bird.
This is a great bird.
Wingle's cute. I love the stripy eyes are so great.
Yeah.
I love just how simple it is.
Yeah,
He looks kind of like Hello Kitty adjacent.
Yeah, he would
This
have
could,
like
this could definitely be a Sanrio character.
Yeah, Sanrio. That's what I was thinking.
I love how flat he is. He's just hanging in the air like a flat little seagull. And there's something like sailory about him in the coloring, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like the blue stripe on the white is very sailor vibes. Like he looks like a
like
sailor hat.
classical sailor outfit.
Yeah,
I think he's probably also meant to look like an old-fashioned airplane too. With how like
yeah,
wide
that's
the
true.
wings are and how just straight out they are.
It's a very small detail, but I also like that you can see the leg poking out from behind,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he's not just a blob.
yeah, that's cute. Yeah, Wingle. Also just like the proportions between how long his wings are compared to this tiny body. It's fun. The
I'll give him a 3, but
big-ass
it's a high
beak.
3.
I'm gonna go
I'll
4.
say 4. No, I'm gonna go 5. I don't think Wingle could be
Wow.
better. I think if you want to do a seagull Pokemon and like a
Yeah, okay,
maybe
I'll
5.
come up to 4.
Yeah.
I can't find fault with it, and I am charmed by him.
Now Pelipper is I don't know.
Pelipper I kind of like for all the same reasons, which is funny to say because it's a very different shape and all, but like
Yeah,
it just gets what it's going for. It's a simple shape that's very evocative of both like the personality of the Pokemon and the animal that it's representing.
I do like how it's mostly beak. Like even his body is just absorbed by the beak that morphs into
Yeah.
his stomach, which is fun. I don't love the head shape. I think he looks weirdly flat, but like from the side. Like Wingle was flat from the top. Pelipper looks really flat from the side.
That's true.
I think he could have a little bit more volume to him. And I also don't love the head shape, which tapers out, but is also almost flat in the middle.
He looks like
it's-
you know, like a character artist, like that kind of style. He looks like a character artist drawing of a pelican.
Oh,
He looks
I
like a
see.
cave. He looks like a caveman's drawing of a pelican, like just so side on and flat, like the
Yeah.
caveman drawings of moose or something.
Oh, I dislike
Or-
Pelipper
or
because the
ox.
NPCs spam protect like crazy. That's so true. That's why I get uncomfortable.
It's
when
valid.
looking
Yeah,
at
that's
Pelipper.
extremely valid.
But I do like Pelipper though. I'll say 4.
I'm also going to say 4.
I'm gonna say 2. I actually don't like Pelipper. I kind of don't like how just weird and kind of goofy it is. Which is a weird complaint because you could say Wingull also kind of looks goofy, but Wingull's also really simple in a way that works for me. And Pelipper,
Yeah.
I see it way too much to be like, oh yeah, that's a great design. I'm just like, get
I
the
also
fuck
have
outta
a
here.
bit of fondness for Pelipper because it's one of the worst Pokemon to ever be really good in competitive.
That's true.
Just because of Drizzle, yeah.
Yeah.
Routes.
Routes, it's a 5.
Ralts, yeah. Ralts is a
Yeah.
5.
I do like Ralts a lot. I like how I just don't know what he is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That feeds into the psychic type really well.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is the Abra of the generation, but a totally new concept on it, or a totally new take on it.
Yeah, and like having something human-like about him, and then also being slightly alien, or there's also something like slug-like about his body. Like, I always thought Ralts looked like a slug.
I can see where you're coming from. I think that, like, so much of what makes it work is the 2 red head spikes, which is weird to say because what even are they?
Mm-hmm.
But if I just look at the head spikes, I'm like, this is a bad design element. But if I look at Ralts without them, I'm like, that would be a shitty Pokemon.
That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like everything about it just like toes a very fine line into a good design.
I was wondering, does Ralts have eyes? Do they ever show them, or do they just leave it ambiguous?
I don't think they ever show up. I don't know. Let's see.
That's fun. That's fun as well.
Ralts.
Ralts does have eyes.
Oh, it
there
does
are
have
shots
eyes.
in
I
the
see.
anime where
Oh, they're kind of cute. They're kind of
it
cute
looks
as well.
from under its bowl cut.
I kind of like that. I mean, I like the idea of him not having eyes, but I do like how the eyes look as well. Yeah, Ralts is cute.
What'd you
I don't know if
give
I'm
And
gonna
it
go
evokes
5.
the like the weird quiet kid who has like secret ESP.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but in a cute way, not in an edgy way.
Yeah.
Which is fun. He doesn't have school shooter vibes. I was gonna say.
What'd you rate it?
Yeah. I'm torn between the 4 and a 5. I gave Wingull a 5, but I also think, I think if Wingull's a 5, then Ralts is a 5 as well.
There we go. Curlia.
I think Curlia, again, middle Pokemon, so it's going to be the worst of the line, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. I think, I mean, personally, I'm weirdly partial to watch Steenie, and knowing Steenie, Curlia just looks like a worse Steenie to me. Because I weirdly like Steenie, but
What the fuck is a Steenie?
that's a middle evolution in like a Gen 7 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how far you've gotten. If you look it up, if you look it up, you're gonna see that it's very Curlia-like. But I just think like, but yeah, Curlia's fine. It doesn't do anything. Doesn't do much for me either way. So I'll say 3. I think it's just fine as a middle evolution.
I give Curlia a 4.
I'm also giving it a 4. I like the ballerina theme of it, I guess.
I do like it. I just don't really get why it's a ballerina in the context of the other 2
I guess
evolutions.
I guess they just, I don't know, maybe it wasn't deliberate, but maybe they just thought, well, it's got to do something.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
what
probably
it sort
right.
of feels like. And also like maybe like Ralts is sort of, they want if you want to go towards Gardevoir, you want to imply some femininity before you get to that stage. Because Gardevoir is like the max femininity as far as Pokemon go. And
I
Ralts
do
just
think
doesn't
that's
have-
it.
Yeah. That probably is.
So it's just like, okay, maybe if you make it a ballet dancer and give it long hair, then it's more feminine. And then it makes sense as a middle stage between Ralts and Gardevoir.
All right. Would you?
Smash.
Yeah.
I can't believe Panic is missing out on this stream. Panic is missing out on the Gardevoir rating.
That's a 5.
Yeah, Gardevoir's gorgeous.
I'm giving it a 4.
It's like the perfect final form for Ralts.
I'm giving it a 4 specifically because I am disappointed that it has legs.
It does?
it?
Yes, you didn't know that?
No, I thought it floated.
No, Gardevoir has legs.
That's disappointing.
That is disappointing.
I also thought Gardevoir
guess-
was just like a floating dress for a long, long time, and then my childhood was ruined someday. But no, it has legs.
That still looks good, though.
I still don't think that looks fine.
Nah, it ruins it for me.
It's marginally worse, but not significantly worse.
No.
I also never noticed it has the exact same face as Latias.
It does, yeah.
I guess it has a slightly different eye color, but the vibe is very similar. I mean, God of War is just gorgeous and not in a Smash way. I mean, it's also in a Smash way, but not just in a Smash way. It's also just like it looks like a pretty fairy spirit type creature, while also having that weird psychic humanoid mysterious vibe.
Yeah, I really like the progression from like the awkward nervous kid Ralts to like the elegant and powerful Gardevoir.
Like,
I think
yeah.
it works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say 5.
I already said 4.
Yeah.
And then Mega Gardevoir, where it gets
This one you can actually see the legs in there.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, it's kind of just the same as Gardevoir.
It feels way
Yeah.
too slight. Like they didn't do much with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could have like made the dress thing a bit bigger, like make it a full massive ball gown, which is kind of what they're going for. But I think they could have pushed that a bit more. But I do tend to prefer the megas that stick a bit more closely to the original design. But I think this is a little too close. I still think it's very nice, though.
I think
say
it could have
4.
used some sort of like neck, shoulder, chest ornamentation.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or like something more cape-like around the shoulders. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
I'll give it a 4.
I'll say 4, yeah.
3. I'm not into it too much. It's whatever. Surskit.
I kind of like Surskit.
This is another one of those classic Gen 3s that's like, this isn't really anything, but it's good.
Yeah. Really, really simple.
You can also immediately tell that it's going to be the extremely light, thin bug that's going to be sitting on the water, gliding
Yeah.
across. And I love how it has no mouth. I just like bug Pokemon with no mouth. It just adds to the weird bugginess of it.
Yeah. I like the little like
Three.
eye blush underneath it.
Yeah, that's cute. I like the spike. I like the coloring. Yeah, 4. That's a 4 for me.
Yeah, 4 out of 10. Or 4 out of 5. What'd you rate it, Sonos?
I give it a 3.
Okay. Just wanted to get that on film. Masquerain.
I don't like Masquerain.
Masquerain is...
I want to like Masquerain, but it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like trying to do something with the eye wings, and it kind of
Yeah.
comes off more ridiculous than anything else. I actually like it beyond the wings.
Right?
Like it's
well-
a weird, kind of cool body. I like the really small, really fast wings that it's got.
Yeah.
The eye wings are like the interesting idea around it, because that's a very like real to nature thing of like the fake big eyes on
Yeah.
like, an animal's coloration. So I like that idea, but yeah, if you just took those off, it would kind of be a better design.
I wouldn't like it any less or more. I think I just have. I don't think I like the base body even. I don't like the weird lashes that it has on its normal eyes. I just don't like how it's like really long eyelashes.
Oh my god.
And also just don't. It's just such a departure from Surskit, and I think everything I like about Surskit is just completely gone here. I think that's also just disappointing. I don't think it should have been a flying. Again, it's also like there are already 2 flying insects in this generation.
Yeah, I definitely should have still kept the water type.
It should have just stuck
Oh,
to and also just in terms of look, I would have liked it if it stuck to the water walking, water bark Pokemon, but just made like a cool version of that.
Yeah.
I'm still going to give it a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 3 too, because I like the colors a lot.
I'm gonna go 2. I think he's disappointing.
By the way, I was laughing because I just now noticed on my other tab with the Gardevoir images I went on Google Images to search Gardevoir to show that it has legs, and one of the results it gave me is a 3D printed figure, which is just Gardevoir except it has boobs. You can buy one of these for yourself. It's made to order for $250.
I
Jesus
do
Christ.
really, really respect the restraint that they had in not giving guard boobs. Like, they so easily could have done it, and they didn't.
They could have single-handedly sunk the franchise by doing that, but
Yeah.
thank God they didn't. Shroomish. All right, this
Yet again,
5.
what is this thing? I don't know, but I love
him.
it.
I love him as well. I love his face so much.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's so fun. I love his like his thick, or like it's not even thick, but his mono eyebrow, his dot face, and then the weird like underbite mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love everything about it. I love that it's just like this round guy, but it's got like this fungus top to it.
Another weird little Gen 3 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shroomish is a
See,
fun guy.
what's interesting to me about you earlier saying that C-Dot and that line are supposed to be like a pair with the Lotad Ludicolo line, because Shroomish always felt like the like natural pair with C-Dot to me.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
have very similar energy.
True.
Guys
yeah,
that you
Shroomish
just
is good.
stomp on in platforming games.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna go 5, but I'll go 4. I think he's a good guy.
I'm also going to say 4.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about Luigi Mangione's favorite Pokemon? Because personally, I have always been a massive Breloom fan. I am so glad Breloom is
Hell
finally
yeah.
getting the respect that he deserves. This was always one of my favorite designs. What the
Really?
fuck is this?
I don't know.
But I love it.
it's
It's so cool.
Yeah, I like
Breloom
Breloom.
feels a lot like it stumbled in here from Gen 1 and had to like got a little embarrassed that its design was so simple and had to put on a hat.
Like, this is a
think if I-
Pokemon that it looks like it's wearing clothes, but it's also so natural that it just works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very Velociraptor-like. It's like a mushroom Velociraptor. But that's also, but then the body type is very Velociraptor-like, but then the face is not that much.
Yeah, just like I love that face. Like, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why
Breloom's
is it a
pretty
fighting
great.
type?
Because he kicks your ass.
Because
Like, what about this makes it a fighting type?
it's limb stretch, I think. So it has like really
Yeah, I think it.
hard punches.
Yeah, I think like it looks like it has very short arms, but then he can like punch you. I do like. Okay, I found a picture of Breloom where he's screaming and his mouth opens and he has a tongue and teeth, and that's unsettling.
Oh,
more I
That's
look at this-
so
that's
it's
so much worse.
Its body structure resembles a kangaroo, so its fighting type and boxing behavior can
Oh,
also
that
be
makes
inspired by the
sense.
boxing kangaroo.
Okay.
I
But why?
Really hate. I really hate.
I don't know.
Why? Yeah. How,
It's Breloom.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I do see it. I feel like the more I look at this image, and I feel like I know Gen 3 like back and forth. This is like so much of my childhood.
Mhm.
If you had asked me to draw Breloom from memory, I would have gotten so much of it wrong. I would not have gotten like the little olive on the hat. I would not have gotten the Ankylosaurus tail. I would not have gotten the clawed feet.
Yeah, I mean, but there's quite a few
Or like
elements to
the
him.
flower petal collar.
Yeah, there's so
There's-
much
there's-
to him.
There's a lot to him, but nothing feels excessive.
Yeah, it's so
I
natural.
do hate this picture. I do hate this picture of him screaming with his teeth.
Why?
I don't like. This would be like if like this picture, just a base picture of him. That's like 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. But seeing those teeth makes me very uncomfortable.
Nah,
You're
you
giving it a
never see
5,
it in
huh?
the games, so don't worry about it. Yeah, that's a 5 for me.
Yeah, I'll go 5. I'll just forget about the teeth.
I truly have no idea what to rate this. I think I'm going to give it a 3.
Just split in the middle.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, slack off.
Slack off. Another banger.
It's a fun little guy.
This is a 4 for me. I keep saying it, but Gen 3 is so good at just these weird little dudes.
This guy would have his own cartoon.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
at the very least, he would have like his own 5-minute segment in a show. I think.
Slackoff's great. I just love how she's just lying there, doesn't give a shit. I think he has slightly too much like human personality in his face.
I don't love the pig nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the face that I don't love 100%. But otherwise, I just love him.
I like the perfectly round limb. I just love how like I like how he's both fat and lanky at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a 4. Yeah.
I'll say 4. He's kind of in slowpoke territory, but I think they both have a right to exist and different enough vibes that makes them both fun. I'll say 4 as well.
Vigoroth.
Vigoroth is kind of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like him actually. I don't like the colors. I don't like the
Yeah, I think they should have gone straight from Slackoth into Slacking.
Yeah.
I don't know why they needed to be like, this one's lazy, and then it's energetic, and then it's lazy again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this needs to exist. And it also, even color-wise, it's just a sudden departure from Slackoth, and the vibe is different, the color is different, and even just as an Pokemon in itself, I just don't think there's that much interesting about him. I'm gonna go 1 because I can't think of a reason for it to exist, and looking at it, I'm also just bored.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it.
Like
2.
if it was
it feels harsh, but I think it's fair.
If it was within a line that looked more like Vigoroth, like it had a pre and a post evolution that looked more like him, I'd still give him a 2. But the fact that he just doesn't need to exist and kind of ruins an otherwise good line, I'll say 1. Yeah.
Good point.
Dang. All right, Slacking. Yeah,
This
cool.
guy.
This guy is a piece of shit.
Yeah. He's so unpleasant in like a very evocative way, I feel. I'm gonna give him a 4.
Okay.
I just love how massive he is. I mean, he's not that massive, but he is a fucking beast.
Is he 6'7", like when laying on his side? Like, is that from the ground to his elbow?
That's a good question.
I think considering his weight, he's just built like a large fat man.
I assume
like a gorilla, or
I assume that the height listed is always just maximum height.
Yeah. I just love how he's like rubbing his belly button like a fucking douchebag.
It's oozes personality. He totally looks like exactly what he is. He's a lazy shit who will just kill you.
Yeah.
For no reason.
You know what I like about him? I like that he's got a receding hairline.
Yeah.
Like they actually make him look like some grumpy, like old or middle-aged man.
But
he looks like your fat uncle with anger issues.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look too human. Like he still looks like a beast. He does look like gorilla-like about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he isn't just a person.
Yeah. Yeah. Slacking's good. I'm almost gonna say 5. I think that's just not. I think like this is the perfect version looks-wise of like the sloth Pokemon that will fuck you up and is gonna be an asshole about it. So I'll say 5. I can't think of this looking any different or any better.
I'm gonna give him 4 because I've never loved him, but I appreciate it, especially because I appreciate how they like tied the gameplay, like the balance into, just like how we act.
It's the perfect Pokemon for your player character to get their ass beat by their deadbeat dad.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Maybe that's why they gave him a receding hairline. That's why they gave him that personality. I didn't think about that.
And I also love how Truant's just such an interesting ability.
Yeah.
Even if it makes him.
They should have done a Mega Slacking that was all the same stats and everything, but it just like didn't have Truant.
Yeah. It just had Vigoroth's personality.
Yeah.
Instead. Nincada.
This looks like a real bug, and it just looks like a real bug, and I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah.
I just think it's like one bug too much almost.
Yeah. This thing's just forgettable to me. Like, it doesn't look bad. I don't think anything of it.
Like, it just sort of needs to exist for the sake of the whole... what's it called? I can't think of his name, but we're going to see it in 2. For that gimmick to exist, you need something to be to be in this position.
Yeah.
And they just kind of went with the most okay, acceptable, fine Route 1 thing.
Seeing Nincada makes me think I'm gonna give this guy 3, but it made me look back at Wurmple, and I'm bumping Wurmple up from a 3 to a 4.
Okay. I'm giving
I think
Ninkata a 2.
I think I give Wurmple a 5 because he's just pretty much or 4 or 5.
You guys
so
both gave it 4s. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I can go Ninkata 3. There's nothing offensive about him. I'm not even that bored by him.
I just
guess I
like when
am.
the bugs look like bugs. When they're
Yeah.
just like a little weird and creepy.
Yeah, I think he does the job fine for what the evolution line is. He works as a pre-evolution to the other two. So I'll say 3. I think he's acceptable.
Yeah. Ninjask is okay. He's a fly. He exists. I kind of like how golden crispy he looks. He looks like you would crunch up really easily if you smashed him.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like a transformer, like the
he's
yellow
got,
one.
yeah,
What's
he's
it
got
called?
like a bumblebee look to it.
He's not
Yeah.
exciting, but I really like the shape language, like with the masked face and the lines on the wings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a
There's
3.
I'll
There's
give
something
him a 3.
mechanical about him.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
part.
I think he's sort. Yeah, I do like that as well. I think he's sort of in the same territory as Ninkata, where they exist so that Shedinja can exist, and within that position that they fill, they do the job well, but not in any exciting way. So I'll say 3 as well.
All right, now this fucking guy, Shedinja. This guy,
One of the
rules.
weirdest Pokemon of all time. Maybe the
So
single
cool.
weirdest Pokemon of all
the
time.
most unique Pokemon
Yeah.
they've ever made. Just honestly, an awesome concept in and of itself. Like it's a dead cicada shell. You basically the way it works is that you catch an Ninkata, and then you have to have an extra Pokeball and a spot on your party, and then you evolve it into Ninjask, and then you get a Shedinja in your party if you fulfill those parameters. So
It's the ghost of the shed skin that the Ninkata leaves behind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. I think like it's the idea of how you get it is awesome. I love that it's literally a bug ghost. Like it's a dead bug or a dead part of a bug that comes to life to become its own thing.
And also, like, Ninjask, it's like a ninja bug line because it's doing, like, a substitution jutsu with its dead skin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I never thought about that.
So
Yeah.
that's even better.
Holy shit. Okay, Shedinja's... I was already giving Shedinja a 5, but now it's a mega
Yeah.
5.
I also
also
love
just
it's got, like, the like, wispy white halo. Like, it would probably be a
Yeah.
5 even without that, but that escalates it even more. I love the kind of, like, weird jagged edges to the wings.
Yeah, it's, like, broken, kind of.
Yeah.
I also love how the eyes they look so empty. They don't even look like eyes. They just look like the thing where the eyes used to be.
Uh-huh.
And he just looks so crunchy, and he's also so static because he's just a shell. Yeah, that's a 5. I think this is a perfect Pokemon and more.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something
He's
about
dope.
it.
Whismer.
Wismer, keep giving me these weird little guys.
Yeah,
They're all good.
The eyes are great on this one. And
Yeah,
also
I think I'm gonna give Wismer a 5.
Damn.
Do I want to
I love this Pokemon. I wish its evolutions were better, both in like
Yeah.
terms of. I think they're still pretty good in design, but I especially wish they were better like to play with because I love Wismer so much.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give it a
looks
5 as well. I probably wouldn't have if not for you being here to convince me. But yeah,
I think it kind of looks like a Neopet.
Yeah,
Now,
I look at the shape of the mouth too.
It would have really definitive eyes if it was a Neopet.
True. I guess the body shape in the main part. I'm not gonna go 5, but I do kind of like him. He's again like another weird little guy like Seedot, and I do like that vibe. Just the stubby little ball guys that are on the ground and small. So I'll say 4.
Loudred.
I like Loudred.
He's a big mouth.
He kind of has the piece of shit vibes that Slacking has, but in a different way.
In like the complete.
I think
opposite
like he's got kind of like hippopotamus mouth, especially with the
Yeah.
teeth.
Mhm.
I like that a lot. I like that the ears are like subwoofers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little too weird for me to give him a 5, but I'm still gonna put him at 4.
does kind of have that like Jinx, Mr. Mime weirdness about him in a slight way. Just in his body
his
type.
design is so much more realized than those ones are.
Definitely. Like, but if they pushed this like 20% more in this weird direction, it would have been in that same territory where you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? But it's just weird enough that it still sort of feels believable.
I feel the opposite, actually. I feel like they pushed it to be so weird that it works. If the mouth was like 50% smaller, this thing would just be ugly.
I guess, yeah. I'll say 4 is a bit much. I'll say 3.
I'm gonna say 3 as well. I think it's a little too ridiculous, personally. But I get what they were going for, at least. I'm also personally, maybe I'm a little low on Loudred, because I personally really like Exploud. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say Exploud goes back up to 5.
Really? Damn. 5? I don't think Exploud needs to exist. I think Loudred does the job.
No,
Exploud just like looks so like. I feel like he's gonna fucking explode just looking at him.
See, Loudred is just like loud and chaotic for the love of the game. Exploud just looks like he's fucking pissed, and that's so real.
I don't know. I think he loses the subwoofer thing, which I like in Loudred, and other than that, it's just kind of the same big mouth thing. But I don't think it's doing that much better. I also don't like how it looks like he has like engine exhaust pipes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that was cool. Like organ.
No,
pipes.
I prefer the subwoofer thing. Yeah, I think I just like Loudred more, and I kind of agree, like what you said. Like, I don't think they both need to exist. And then I get if you don't like Loudred, then you are gonna like Exploud, and I'm just on the other side of that. So I'm gonna go 4 or 2 for Exploud.
Damn.
Mons, what about you?
I just prefer Loudred.
As the resident screamer of this podcast, I have to give Exploud a 5.
Nice. I feel like I can picture Exploud using Boom Burst and just like destroying everything in a 5-mile radius. You know?
I guess. Like if Loudred didn't exist, and I would just judge Exploud on its own, it'd be a 3. But I think the two of them are too close to each other in terms of the vibe they give off, and I just like Loudred more.
Makuhita.
Another perfect little guy.
Look at this fat little fuck. I like the. I just kind of now realize that he looks like a bag.
Yeah.
He does look like a bag, doesn't he?
Oh, he's a punching bag. Like, oh,
I was about to say.
I didn't notice until now.
Do you think that's what they're going for?
Well, I mean,
like that's the pun that's happening.
Yeah, it's a pun. He punches and he looks like a bag.
Yeah, definitely. He grows stronger by enduring harsh training.
Yeah.
He can withstand any attack.
My only thought was just that he's got a literal top knot.
Yeah. I
mean, which is like the classic like sumo or samurai hairstyle.
Yeah, but I always noticed he was like a sack guy, but I guess I never thought of him as a punching bag. I just thought he was a sack. But him being a punching bag makes even more sense.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, like a sumo wrestler Pokemon that's also a punching bag. That's just it works. It works on all levels, kind of.
You know what? This has got to be a 5. This is a perfect design.
I'm gonna say 4.
Yeah, I'll say 4, just because I'm not in love with it, but I can't think of any way to improve it. It's just that X factor I'm missing again.
I literally never thought about this guy much at all, and now suddenly I'm like, this is fucking genius.
I always liked Makuhita. I have never liked Hariyama.
Hariyama is...
maybe now...
He's okay.
Maybe now
he's cool.
You can answer a question that has tormented me since I was 10 years old. What the fuck is the little orange thing in the middle of his body?
Just a color detail.
Like, what's
but then why is it
what's
parted
the shape
like that?
happening here? I always thought that he had like it doesn't look like this in this, but if you go back to like the original Gen 3 sprite of him in this pose, I always thought that he was wearing kind of like a toga thing, and that he had like one tit popping out, and that was a big nipple. That's what it always looked like to me.
I can see now why you don't like Harry. You think it's one big nip. I thought it was more like, it almost looks like he's wearing like like a chest plate or something on his upper body, and then like a cloth leather thing on his lower body. That's what I kind of think it looks like.
I could see that, but in that case, why is it the same? So if that bit was like a different color, then I would like it more. But it's just his skin, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's like his skin, but modeled to be shaped like something like a chest plate,
Yeah.
maybe.
I don't like the eyebrow ridges. I don't like that above them he's just got like a pointy cone head.
I actually
I
like.
kind of like him.
I do like that. Yeah.
I don't
I
like
like
the
how
big
done-
ear.
I like how done. I kind of like the big ear.
I just
just like how-
dislike a lot about this design.
I just like
the pose is the
pose.
only thing that I like.
I like the pose. I like the build. I like the body type. Like how wide he is. He looks like
What
he's
the
just like you're not gonna get fucking past him. He's like the road blocking guy. Like if in terms of Pokemon that block like our obstacles,
Uh-huh.
like this could have been a Snorlax type Pokemon. There's just a
Yeah.
big Hariyama on the road, and he's just too pissed to let you through, and you're not gonna get past him because that's the thing he does. He's the guy
I
that you're
would
not
like
gonna
that.
get past.
I also just noticed he's 7'7".
Yeah.
That's a big fucking dude.
He's a big
Yeah.
fucker. You know, I don't really have much to complain about with Hariyama, but I will also say it's just not that clever to me. It's just like, if you
Yeah,
were to,
I mean-
to design some kind of monster-like thing based on a sumo wrestler, it's like, here you go. Mission accomplished. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have that, like, oh, there's, like, the cool detail, you know, like
There's nothing
what we
clever
were talking
about
about
it.
with Makuhita.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think that's the type of thing that pushes something to a 5 for me. It's still a 4 to me.
I'm just saying 3. It's
I'm gonna give it a
average.
2.
Yeah.
Damn,
Azurill.
adorable.
Yeah, this guy's funny.
It's so cute.
I'm gonna say 4. I don't think this needed to exist at all, and I don't know why they made this, but sure.
Yeah. And it's not even the generation where they were going the baby Pokemon. Like
Yeah.
they did that in Gen 2.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
they were just. I guess since they established them in Gen 2, they tried to keep it going.
Yeah, they're like, so now let's do a new baby for a Pokemon that was introduced in Gen 2. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think doing something with Marill makes sense because as a single stage Pokemon, or as a Azumarill already existed in Gen 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Roselia.
I feel like people forget,
Yeah.
like, Marill has not really lasted the test of time, but back
No.
in the day, Marill was a big deal.
Blue
Marill was like a
Pikachu.
really popular Pokemon.
Or
Yeah.
Pika Blue, they called it.
Pika Blue,
Blue,
yeah.
I think Azurill is a better Marill, if that makes sense. I like him more than Marill, and I think he sort of has overshadowed Marill for me. Where I think
Really?
I would have been just fine if the line was Azurill into Azumarill.
I like Marill more.
I also like Marill more, but I appreciate Azurill. It's fine.
I'm going to give it a 3.
I'll say
I'll
4.
say 4.
Nose Pass.
I love Nosepass.
Fucking
I think
banger.
He's so funny.
Yeah, this is a thing that I never ever got in the games because I'm just like, I'm not using that in my party, but
Yeah.
it's the first gym leader Pokemon. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. It's like one of those
Yeah.
good temporary like early boss designs that just kind of stick with you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
And I
first
like how
time you see this, it's in the first gym, right?
Yeah.
It's like the final Pokemon the first gym leader uses, and you're like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 5.
I also like the compass thing where he's like made out of magnetic rock and his nose just works
His
like
nose,
a compass.
his nose points north. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Like that's a fun halfway point between like a magnet Pokemon and an Easter Island Pokemon where it's like using the nose as a magnet thing.
Yeah, the
nose
Moai.
is fun. Yeah. I'll say 4.
And I think that they actually had a place called Eastern Island in RSE for events.
Did they?
Not in the main story though, so I didn't fucking know about it. So maybe that's why they made this based on a Moai. But I'd say 4 out of 5 for Nose Pass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4.
Skitty.
It's cute.
I love Skitty because I'm a big cat guy. I love that its
Yeah, I like
tail
it.
is literally just a toy. It's just a cat toy.
thought it
It
was
looks like
supposed
a
to be like
pincushion.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be a pincushion.
I don't really know why it would be a pincushion, but that's what it looks
Because I
like.
think the whole Skitty Delcatty thing, it's supposed to be like the fluffy, fancy, rich people grandma cat, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's knitting or something.
Yeah, like the Skitty would be like the cat that an old sweet grandma would have while knitting, and then Delcatty is like the fancy people version of the like fluffy, flamboyant cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skitty's super cute. I like the face as well. I like how they didn't give him like big doll eyes, but just these weird like, well, not even that weird, but
Yeah,
just
I've
these
always
nice
loved I've always loved
closed
closed
smile eyes. Yeah, I like them. Just the coloring as well.
The coloring is nice.
It's just very pleasant. It looks very fluffy. Yeah, I don't think about Skitty much, but looking at it now, I do think it's really good. I'll say 4 out of 5.
Skitty's a 5
I'm
for
gonna
me.
give it a 3. It's just a little simple, but not in like a. It doesn't fall into the like perfect little guy category for me because it's got too much going on, but also not a lot
I think it's actually
of
perfect.
like distinct elements.
I
You
think
know,
it's pretty much perfect in terms of balance between detail and simplicity.
This works for me. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Delcatty, I don't think they got it quite
Yeah,
as well.
I don't give a shit about Delcatty. I think it's kind of ugly.
I don't think it's ugly. It's
I
just,
wouldn't say it's ugly. It's just boring.
Yeah, it's boring.
I just don't like how it's wearing like a neck cushion. I think that's weird, like one of those travel pillows.
So I get that
I think
it's
that's a little too on the nose.
it's supposed to be like some fashion sort of thing, I guess. 'Cause,
It's
like this
Kind
was
of
obviously
like a boa.
yeah.
I guess.
Like I guess
I
they
just-
made this Pokemon specifically for contests. I'm assuming because May had
Yeah.
it in the anime.
Yeah, it's like a furfrou type Pokemon, just to sort of, or like that's the vibe, and I guess with contests that sort of makes sense. I just don't like the fused ears, like the ears coming together into one big hat type thing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever liked that either.
I don't actively hate it, but if I do look at it, I'm like, oh, well, show me something else. I'll go 2.
2.
2. Sableye.
Speaking of weird little guys, this is like the ultimate weird little guy.
Yep. It's perfect.
I caught a shiny Sableye in my Pokemon Violet.
What color
Like
is the shiny?
Is gold,
Ooh.
or at least yellowish. But I think it's supposed to be gold.
Shiny sable.
I just for Sableye, I just love how
Oh, yeah, that's
weird
good.
and he's just such a little gremlin creature with the diamonds for his eyes that kind of give him this empty look.
Yeah. Kind of unsettling, but still very cute.
Yeah, Sableye's great. That's a 5 out of 5.
I'm gonna give him a 4 because I feel like they could have just done more with this.
I guess. I guess you're right. I'll say I think in part I'm thinking of the Mega, which I like more. So I'll say 4 for the base Sableye.
What do you think, Sinris?
I'm still sticking to 5.
Okay. Mega Sableye's a 5.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
I
a 5.
agree. This makes it even better.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when they said they could do more, and the reflection in the gem magnifying its face, that's perfect.
Oh, I've never noticed that before.
That's what sold it for
good.
me.
Yeah,
That's really good. Yeah.
like it also just like it's not just holding a big gemstone. It's like a magnifying thing. That's really cool. Yep, love it. That's a 5. And Magic Bounce is also fun as an ability as well. You just can tell that it's like gonna block things with his gemstone and reflect it like a mirror.
It's so funny when
I think this is one of the best mega designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking competitively, it's funny that when this got announced, everyone was just kind of like, "What the fuck are they even going to like?" Its base stats are so low; they can only add 100. Like, how are they going to make this viable? And then it just turned out to be like the most broken defensive mon ever.
Just turns out that having no weaknesses and having Magic Bounce is a pretty good fucking combination.
Well, it's crazy because before Mega Evolving, Sableye already has best
Prancer.
abilities in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And they just gave it one of the other best abilities in the game, and it got even better.
And speaking of that, kind of, Mawile.
Also fucking awesome. I love
Yeah.
Mawile.
Yeah, Mawil's very interesting. It's like a Venus flytrap, but it's also based on like some Japanese folklore, I think. I forgot what
I
this
figured
Yeah.
it had to be something like that, because otherwise I have no idea what it's supposed to be.
I think it's like samurai, like, right? Or like
It does have kind of a samurai vibe with like the wide
robe
pants and the hairstyle.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot like the wooden swords fighting.
Okay.
I'm not can't think of the name.
So
What are the wooden swords called?
Mawile may have been based on the Japanese legend of the Futakuchi Una, or the Futakuchi Ona, a woman with a mouth in the back of her head.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It
Yeah.
may also be.
I mean,
That is what this is.
It may
Yes.
also be influenced by the Oni, a demon with a torn mouth and a body covered in hair that lives in the mountains.
Less so, I feel like. Yeah, Manuel's awesome. I also love how the mouth sort of has a smile to him, like he has his own personality.
Yeah.
And Manuel just sort of, they're not. They clearly have like two minds in a way, but Manuel sort of just lives with it and has made it into a weapon.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Mawil's a 5. Actually,
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, I'll say 5.
I'm gonna say 4.
And then Mega Mawile, where it gets 2 of them.
No, that's just cool.
That's yeah. I love like the combat pants or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one actually makes sense to be all spiky and angry looking compared to other megas. This is a
It
5.
could easily be too much, but it works for me.
Yeah, I was about to say I was gonna say that it's too much, but then I couldn't really actually feel that way. It's like on paper it's too much, but actually just looking at it, yeah, that fucking works. That's still a 5.
Yep. All right, Alron.
It's another fucking little guy.
It's
What
a
a good-
perfect. This is a perfect little guy. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
He is a perfect little guy, just a little shell guy. I don't even know what he is. I guess he's like a turtle type thing, or maybe like it's like a bug or something.
Yeah. I don't know. He's
Sure.
just a little guy who eats rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have a weak spot for Pokemon without any mouth. Like Seedot and Aron and Surskit, they all just have a vibe to them. Like they're just just little guys.
It's one of these funny things where the design is so perfect that even though it doesn't have any clear parallel that exists in real life, I can just imagine like being in a cave and seeing like a
Yeah.
bunch of little Aron crawling around.
Yeah,
Aron
100%.
seems to be based on the Bulgasari, a monster that eats iron in Korean legend,
Except it does not look like this at all. What the fuck is this
Yeah.
thing? That is not an Aron.
It's a dog with an elephant's nose.
It's got some kind of.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give
exactly
Aron a
what-
5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5 as well. I think he's a perfect little guy. I love his big blue eye.
Oh,
yeah,
he's
that's
beautiful.
blue eyes.
He's such a sweet guy.
I'll give it a 4. And Laron.
I do like Laron as well, but not as much as Aron.
Laron looks to me like what Rhyhorn would be if they designed it in this generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty much like a Rhyhorn type Pokemon. I do have a weak spot for like the big, beefy, bipedal, heavy guys, like the Stegosaurus adjacent Pokemon in
Yeah.
a way. And Laron.
I
is
love
definitely
anything
that.
with like interlocking plates of armor.
Yeah. And this is definitely one of those like big, beefy, low to the ground guys that
Yeah,
I really
I like
like.
him.
I'll go 4.
I'm gonna say 4 for Laron.
Yeah, 4.
And then Aggron. I've always liked Aggron.
Aggron's a 5.
I-
Yeah.
Really, I don't really like Agon that much. I think he's too Tyranitar-like without really being distinct enough from them. And I think he loses
Honestly,
sort
I
of that.
like him better than Tyranitar, though.
I might, but I also am not the. I guess I do like Tyranitar actually, and I kind of still like Agon. But I just wish he was still low to the ground and like the Stegosaurus vibe rather than the like Godzilla Kangaskhan stance.
Yeah. This
Um,
whole line does have very strong Gen 1 vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blade
this-
types mainly.
This is totally the shape of something of many things that are in Gen 1. It's just
Yeah.
now that they can do a little more texture, a little more design.
The
They
steel
did.
type exists in this generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he definitely has more to him than a lot of those Pokemon with similar body types. But I also think there's too many Pokemon already at this point and ongoing that have this body type. Like at this point, you already have Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Kangaskhan, and Tyranitar, and Aggron's just a bit too much the same body type, but just a different like type of armor plating.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so I
like
think
I
it-
said, I like him better than those ones because I think now they can actually illustrate
Yeah, I mean,
the
I
armor
agree.
in a way
I
that looks good.
I agree. It's just unfortunate to be in a pool of Pokemon types that already feels a little oversaturated to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
think
those
Laron,
because they're from earlier
Laron-
generations, those ones are always
Yeah.
going to be more iconic than it is.
and I think, like I say, I think I like him more than the others. And I don't know what I gave the others, but the others I sort of rated as coming out in Gen 1 and still being new to that type of body type in Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
And having that slot to fill. I think Laron and Aron are just more distinct. So I'll give Aggron a 3. I think he's still cool. But I kind of wish he was more similar to Laron and Aggron. Or Aron, sorry.
I'm gonna say
Actually, I'll
Mas,
go
what
4.
about
Fuck
you?
it. 4, he's still fucking awesome. He's still 4.
Now, just think about the fact that this guy is 6'11". He's huge. Look how bulky and powerful he is. Hariyama is still 8 inches taller.
Yeah, Hariyama's a fucking beast.
and Hariyama would kill him in one hit with the fucking time
Yeah.
before weakness. Mega Aggron.
Okay. So I
He is just
I was-
metal now.
Yes, I bumped Aggron to a 4 so I could give Mega Aggron a 3 because I think Mega Aggron has more the issues I named without actually being that cool himself. I think
When
it's
I
just
was-
too much.
When I was picturing Mega Aggron, I was going to say a 3, but I actually like the illustration of it more. Like, the thing I dislike about Mega Aggron is just, like, very tube-shaped. It's just like a bulky cylinder with a head poking out. But this one, where it's, like, leaning like this, I like it more. It's still a step down, though.
I don't like how he just becomes white. Like I like the switches, the different layers in color, like the outer plating being white and the inner being black. And there's still some of that, but there's so much outer plating now that it just becomes too monochrome for me, and I don't love that. And I also think he has the spike issue with most Mega Pokemon, or with a lot of Mega Pokemon, where they just add a lot of spikes to him. He also kind of looks like a plane.
A plane. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I don't love Mega Aggron. I'll say I do like how he loses a type. I think that's interesting. But design-wise, I think it's a significant step down. I'll say. Actually, I'll go 2.
2. Okay.
As far as Megas go, I think it's worse in every way than the base Pokemon.
So on base Aggron, are you sticking with 3 or 4?
I'll stick with 4.
Okay.
I want a significant enough gap between the two, just because I think it's such a downgrade from base Aggron.
I'm gonna say 3. It's all right.
Okay.
I like how big and heavy he is. How many more do you guys want to do? Because
I could keep going. It's up to
I'm
you
still
guys.
okay.
I know you both said you were tired at the start, but I've got nothing else going right now.
I am
I'm
tired.
still
and
okay,
I've got
yeah.
other stuff to do, but I can go a little bit longer.
We can go a few more.
Yeah, let's go to like. I mean, we're not not even halfway through this generation, which is one of the reasons why I'm asking, because it goes all the way to 386, and we're at 307. Let's go to 314. That would take us to Illumise. That
I
would
mean,
get-
it'll still take a while, right?
It'll take a few minutes, but yeah, the
340 you said, or
what?
340 you said?
No, 14.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
No, we might as well just
Yeah.
go through the entire rest of the gen if it was 340. But anyway, Meditite.
It's a good little guy, not a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his onion head.
I like the concept. I just kind of don't like the way it looks. I don't like the face. It's kind of like
Yeah, the face.
too odd.
It's just slightly too much in the face region. Like there's the onion head, and there's the two two curls in the side, and he has the blush, and he has a weird mouth.
Like for
And then the
something that's
body's just kind of like a blue baby wearing a diaper.
like for something that's supposed to be meditative, it's too expressive for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
quite
really know
aggressive.
what their thought process was with this one.
Yeah, the more I look at him, the more I dislike him, and I never really liked him that much in the first place.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
I'm also
I'll
giving
go
I don't think it's
2.
bad.
Yeah.
I'll go 3 actually.
Medicham.
I do like Medicham. I don't know why. It's weird, but I like it.
I've always had a fondness for it, but now that I'm looking at it, there's not really anything about this design that I like.
I don't like Medicham at all, honestly. I don't like the way it looks at all. I don't,
Yeah.
I hate the stupid boob pants. I don't like it. I don't like its
I like the
thin,
big
lanky
pants.
body. I don't like its lips. It's no.
It's again got the same body shape as Combuskin that I've been complaining about.
Yeah.
I think I just kind of like the fighting psychic combination, and I think it represents fighting psychic well, even if it design-wise it's a little weird.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is an evocative idea. Like it does definitely look like a very mindful Zen type fighter, which I like. I think
I do like that they
before-
chose to give it like a feminine energy.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
these
that
sorts
as well.
of fighting types are always like man shaped.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I like that they mixed it up with this line.
Before seeing it, I think I was going to give it a 4, but I do think it has enough weirdness to it that I will drop it to a 3, even if I do really like fighting psychic as a type combination.
I'm
I'm gonna give it a 2.
I'm going 2. I just don't like the way it looks. Now, Mega Medicham, I think works. I think they.
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah, I
I
like.
actually like it less.
Dang. I like
Don't
the
like
pants
that.
this time. I think the details are great. I like that it looks like a dancer along with its usual self.
Well,
I like the-
Medicham itself already kind of did for me, I feel like. I just don't really like that. I don't like the hat. It's too on the nose for me.
It's a little
I like
much.
the hat better than what it had going on before on its head, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
No, I definitely prefer this.
No, I actually think I'm actually with Whoops on this one. I think the hat's a little
Okay.
too much in this one.
I think it's too on the nose. Like it just looks like a turban, which is I think a little weird for Pokemon to be wearing. I think in general I don't really like super explicit clothes like actual hats. I think that's a little bit like something that looks vaguely like pants is fine, but just actually wearing a hat, I don't
Yeah.
love that.
I like the
Also-
the wing things. I'm not entirely sure
Yeah.
what they're going for with those, but the fact that they're a little faded out makes them kind of like spectral, which leans into the psychic energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think that looks-
now that it's still got the same pants, but they're a lot less ballooned out,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they look less weird to me.
I think the arms are supposed to be like spiritual arms, like she can punch
Yeah.
with them, even though they're like a psychic energy, which is cool. I think I like it slightly less than Medicham, but not enough to go down a point, so I'll still say a 3.
I'm going up to a 4. I think they fixed Medicham with this.
I'm coming up from 2 to 3.
All right. Electrike.
Eh.
That's okay.
It's simple but pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's decent. I just don't. It's just another dog Pokemon, like another bratty dog Pokemon, and it does have the electric thing going on, but it's still kind of the same face and the same legs.
I've never liked
Which
the
I don't
color.
love that much.
Why'd they go with lime green for this? Why'd they go sprite colored?
I kind of like the thought of it, but I don't like the reality of it.
Yeah,
Like
don't know.
I
It works for me.
appreciate the attempt to not just go for yellow because it's a electric type or go for black because it's supposed to be like a bratty dog. I kind of like the thought of green, but I don't think it looks that good. I also don't like how he has like Knuckles the Echidna type hair.
It's a 3 for me. It's kind of in the same category.
Yeah. It's average. 3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3.
Now, Manectric, I do like. I've always liked this guy, because he's blue, and he's spiky, and he's electric.
I don't like his big, pointy head.
I like him less than Electrike.
Dang.
I
Yeah,
think
the
he's,
big pointy head, the hip pointies. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this guy.
I think Manectric is ruined by the existence of Luxray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he compares
Luxray's-
poorly there.
Luxray is just a better version of Manectric in every single way.
I can't even
I also
disagree because
feel-
I do really like Luxray. And I was about to say that, like, Manectric kind of gives me, like, Pharaoh vibes, which Luxray definitely plays much more into.
The thing about Manectric is that he looks too serious for what he is. Like, why is a lightning so, like, serious faced?
Yeah, he could have used more like chaotic energy.
Yeah.
I'll say 2. I don't like him.
I'm going to say 4.
I'll say 2 as well.
Actually, you know what? 3. I actually can't say I like Manectric that much. And unfortunately, they gave him the absolute worst fucking thing of all time.
No, I think this is hilarious.
I almost like this more just because it's some personality. And base Manectric has no personality.
I just don't get how the fuck it would even move.
It is dumb. Like, don't get me
It is
wrong. It's
dumb,
really
yeah.
stupid, but
1. -5 for me on this
I
one
think
dog.
it's funny. I think Manectric is boring, and this is not boring. So that's a plus.
yeah.
It's a 3. I think it's funny.
I need to keep
even
it
if
at
it's
2,
kinda
but a
stupid.
better 2 than the base 2.
It's why? Why did they do this? Plusle. So we now are.
I look at Plusle and Minun and I feel absolutely nothing.
We might as
I
well
think they're
rate them
cute.
together. So plus.
I do think they're cute.
So this is where we finally
Uh,
get the useless Pikachu knockoffs every generation. And like
Yeah.
I said, they've designed Pokemon in pairs this generation for double battles. So
Yeah, I kind of like that, having them in pairs, and they give that idea well. And when you like first run into the twins that have these two, you immediately get like, oh, these two, like, they're supposed to be side by side, and they're stronger if they're together,
Yeah.
even if they're still terrible.
I like that in
I think that's
concept,
pretty-
but they never actually executed that well in the games. Like, you see a
Right.
couple
Yeah.
trainers use Plusle and Minun together, and then they just spam Helping Hand over and over again and not actually
Yeah,
do anything. You try catching them for yourselves, and they're fucking weak as shit on their own, and then when you get into
Yeah,
double
yeah.
battles, they're both the same Pokemon, so they don't even do anything all that interesting.
Oh, also, like, the plus and minus abilities is a cool idea, but A, they're way too weak for it to mean anything, and B,
Yeah.
if you're just, like, a kid playing the game, you don't know that's happening. I
Yeah.
feel like even if they just added a thing where when the fucking, like, 2 kindergartners you're having a double battle with send these out, that's a little text line that's like, their abilities are interacting. They both get +1 special attack.
Yeah.
Then that would
I kinda-
make it come across better.
Like, Pokemon
kinda like them.
interactivity is something that they would be able to do a lot better with in later generations. Maybe this is,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Like, they didn't have the tech to do this back then.
I don't know. I kind of like the colors. I kind of like the shape. I think they're pretty cute. Also,
They are cute.
they're-
I give them both
3
2s.
Yeah, like, I guess 3. If we're just going by the designs and, like, fine, I'm fine with it. I just also kind of find them to be, like, a total waste of Pokedex slots.
Yeah.
I think I sort of vibe them as like being in the same slot, and if they wouldn't exist, there would be
I
like a
feel like-
single other Pokemon to fill that space.
I feel like in the modern day, then it would definitely just be 2 forms of the same Pokemon.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they would do it as, like, a male-female.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of cute, and they convey the dual interaction thing well enough. I just don't think they necessarily needed to do another electric mouse. They could have done something else with the plus minus thing, but that'll be a ongoing thing that keeps coming back. But I think they're cute enough. I'll say 3.
Okay.
I think I gave both of them a 3 if I didn't say it.
Yes.
Speaking of paired Pokemon that are wastes of slots,
Yeah.
This is for me. Just I give so little shits about these two. I could not care any less.
Yeah.
They're not even. They're.
I don't know why they made these. I don't know what the point of these were.
yeah. I like Volbeat a little more just because it has a more interesting design.
Yeah.
I actively dislike both. I just don't think they look good. They look too similar in the worst way, and they look different in the worst ways. I don't like the base design. I don't think they need to exist. They don't even interact or in any interesting way.
I like Volbeat's curly antenna.
That's the.
I guess.
Yeah. I like the colors on both of them, but I just kind of hate the design on both of them.
Yeah, I especially hate how human Illumise looks. Like it has hair.
Well, they
even
both
though it's
look-
supposed to be a butt.
They both look human to me, kind of.
Yeah, but Illumise even more so. She's like she's wearing a bib or something, or she's like it looks like she's wearing clothes and has hair.
She's
And
wearing
Volbeat
she's
at
wearing a
least-
maid outfit.
Yeah,
she is.
She is.
I'm gonna give Illumise a 1 and Volbeat a 1.5.
Maybe
I'll give both a 1.
Maybe
I don't
Volbeat's-
think they need to exist.
Maybe Volbeat's got something like a suit, like a tuxedo.
Yeah, that's supposed to be like fancy.
Yeah.
They're stupid. 1 out of 5, both of them.
Yep, both ones.
Alright, let's end with Roselia. A pretty
All right. Oh,
solid
I forgot
design.
Roserade isn't in it. Isn't in
And
Gen 3.
Badoo neither.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of odd, but Roselia's alright.
I like Roselia a lot, actually. The colors
I
are
think
just
it's-
really nice.
It is, but I think it's. I don't know. It just never did much for me.
It's never done much for me either, but that's fine. It's how do we put it? Like, I'm glad it's not too human. It looks monster enough. It's kind of like in that Gardevoir territory, but plant-based.
Yeah,
If it didn't have the spikes on its head, then it would look too human.
Definitely.
yeah. And the proportions between like the size of the tulip hands and the rest of the body also helps it look less human. I
Yeah.
guess that's supposed to be like pom poms or something.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think Roselia's fine. I think it's sort of in the same territory. I just have similar enough Pokemon that are like better.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to Kirlia and Steenie again to me.
I also think that Roserade would extend on this design better.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. I think it's weird that they keep making like this, like between Roselia, Steenie, and Dolliv. There's 3 like grass type ballerina-ish Pokemon.
Yeah.
And Roserade just ends up being the one I keep forgetting, even though it's the first one.
Roselia, you mean?
Yeah,
I feel like Roselia is the best execution on that.
I actually like it the least of the 3.
Well, that's the first half of Gen 3 Pokemon. At
All
least.
right.
This is a big generation, so we will finish this next week, probably.
How many Pokemon were there in Gen 3?
Probably.
135.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we got through like 70 on this one.
Yeah, that's a decent halfway point.
Yeah. So, we will get back to you on that. And also, I'm going to put out a real episode, except it's an episode that nobody's asked for. So, I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all just see that in your sub box and you're just like, Maz, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
All right. See you all later.
All right.